Assalamu
You have the
alaikum
floor
wa
now.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good day, everyone. My name is Mustapha Kadiri, and I'm here to speak on the title, African Beacon of Light, Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria, 1923 to 2022. This is basically a history of Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria, the proprietor of Summit University of FA. Was a Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria. But Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria has a very rich history, a very, very fantastic history in Nigeria and Africa. It was established in 1923. That was far back when Nigeria was under British colonial rule. Nigeria, as we know it today, we have African indigenous education system, Islamic madrasa system, which is popularly known as Ile-Kewu, and of course we have Western education system. This was introduced into Nigeria by the British as well as other mission organizations. Between 1900 and 1923, when Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria was established, there are a large number of Christian mission schools, very, very few Islamic schools. Indeed, the colonial British government invested very little in education. This was because they were largely interested in more political and economic issues. They were investing in railway and infrastructure linking the country, the Northern Protectorate. The Southern Protectorate. This was what the topic again is the beacon of African beacon of light, Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria, 1923 to 2022. The history of Ansar-ud-Deen, the proprietor of Summit University of FA. Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria is one of the biggest, one of the largest, and one of the most popular Islamic organizations in Nigeria and indeed Africa. This history of this society began in December 1923 when a group of 42 young men decided to take up the challenge of establishing an organization that will be interested in establishing schools to cater for Muslims and non-Muslims, for citizens of Nigeria who do not have access to education. Now let us look at the history of Nigeria between 1900 and 1923. What do we have? At this period, we have the British colonial rule in controlling everything: economy, politics, education, culture, and to some extent. So at this period, we have the African indigenous education system, we have the Islamic education system, and also we have Western education system. I have to tell you that at this period, there are very, very few schools. But among the few schools, compared to what we have today, large number of them were owned by the Christian mission organizations. We have schools owned by CMS, Methodists, Catholics, Baptists, Presbyterian, ECWA, and so there are others. But there are no Islamic organization to establish similar schools. Despite the population of Muslims in Lagos, there were very, very few of them enrolled in schools. It was because of this challenge that the colonial British government decided to establish the government Muslim school in 1896. This was a primary school that was purposely established to cater for Muslim children who have been left out of enjoying education at the primary level. Thereafter, the government also established King's College, which is the first secondary school established by the British colonial government in Nigeria. This was in 1909. Now let's look at the challenges, some of the challenges that precipitated the establishment of Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria. One, the first challenge was that the Islamic schools, there are several madrasas, what we now call Ile-Kewu. There were several of them in Lagos and all over Nigeria. But the certificates issued by these madrasas or Arabic Islamic school, they were not recognized for employment purpose. They were not used, you cannot be used to gain employment opportunities. Another factor that was responsible for the establishment of Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria was the need for the Muslims to have its own educated elites. The Muslims want to be part of running of the country. They wanted to contribute their quota to the development of the country, even as it was as a colonial state under the British rule. So because of all this, the few Muslims who have been privileged to be educated, a few of them grouped themselves together. 42 of them decided to form an organization. And the purpose of that organization was primarily to educate and to reform the society. So on December 21st, 1923, the Young Ansar-ud-Deen Society was born. Why was it called the Young? It was called the Young because all the 42 people who formed the society were young men and women. They were youths. They took up the challenge to solve a problem in their community. This is a big lesson for every one of us. As student of Summit University, you should have that at the back of your mind, that you're going to be a reformer, someone who is going to change the world. So this group of young men and women decided to organize the society. It was formed, and before long, a lot of people were interested. Women were interested, elders were interested, students were interested, and the society grew from strength to strength. By 15th of September 1929, the society was able to raise funds, and they were able to set up, organize the foundation ceremony of its first school. This first school was established at Alakoro in Lagos Island. This was the very first school that was set up and founded by Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria. And the society opened its doors to students on the 8th of April, 1933. During the ceremony, it was a big occasion in Lagos. And as you know, during this period, Lagos was a colonial entity. The Governor General of Nigeria was in Lagos. He was in attendance at this occasion. After the opening of the first school, several other schools followed. The schools at Badagry, the one at Okekpopo in Lagos Island, and several others. The founding fathers of Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria, they were determined to take the light of education to the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. By 1943, just about 20 years after the establishment of the young Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria, an ambitious program, 10-year education plan, was launched. This was a 20 pounds plan to increase the number of primary schools to other parts of the country, to set up a teacher training college to train teachers, and to establish a secondary school. I am happy to inform you that this plan was a success. This is one lesson that we can learn from the founding fathers of the society. They determined, they planned, they raised money, and they accomplished their task. So on the 8th of April 1946, the Teacher Training College came into existence. And by 26 January 1953, the first secondary school that is still standing, that is still admitting students, Ansar-ud-Deen College, Isolo, was born. Now, let us look at the achievement of this young society as it was then. Between 1929 and 1979, several schools were established all over the country. They have over 236 primary schools, 236 primary schools run, funded by one single society, the Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria. The society also established secondary schools, spreading the light of knowledge to Muslims and non-Muslims all over the country, in Ekiti, Lagos, the northern states, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Edo. About 58 secondary schools were established throughout the country. The society did not stop at this. They invested heavily in tertiary education. The first tertiary institution established by Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria was the Ansar-ud-Deen Teachers Training College, Ota. This was opened in April 1946 with 29 students. Thereafter, Ansar-ud-Deen Teachers Training College, Ado-Ekiti, was founded in 1956 to produce grade 3 teachers. Then the society decided to establish another tertiary institution named Ansar-ud-Deen Institute of Arabic and Islamic Studies, which was at the time affiliated with the University of Ibadan to award certificates and diplomas. This was solely established to train missioners and imams for the society. Don't let us forget that at this period, Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria has become a big and international organization. It has branches in the northern part of the country, in the western part of the country, and of course in the central part of the country. The society had also established branches in neighboring African countries. The society had spread to some European cities, and then of course in North America. Now, how did Ansar-ud-Deen decided to establish a university? This was as far back as 2002, when the society set up the Higher Education Committee. The society, the government of the Nigeria at that time has allowed private organizations to set up universities. So Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria was not left behind. They set up the first Planning and Implementation Committee under the chairmanship of Professor Tunde Ogunsanwo. I am happy to inform you that Professor Tunde Ogunsanwo is a member of the Governing Council of the university at the moment. The society also established the Teacher Training College at Isolo. Now, under the presidency of Alhaji Femi Okunu, CON, the national president, who made the establishment of a university for Ansar-ud-Deen his focus. He invested funds into it. He used his influence as a former federal commissioner to make sure that the Summit University project came to fruition. So the second planning and implementation committee was set up between 2010 and 2015. The university finally obtained its provisional license on the 5th of March 2015, when the federal government of Nigeria released the provisional license to the university. Thereafter, academic activities began on March 6, 2017, under Professor H.O.B. as the pioneer vice chancellor of the university. You can see Professor H.O.B. who was vice chancellor between 2016 and 2021. Thereafter, we have our distinguished Professor Abiodun Musa Aibinu, who became the second substantive vice chancellor on 1st of April 2022. That is the license of the university to operate as a private university in Nigeria. That is the campus of the university. The Summit University of Art has been making giant strides in development of facilities. The university haven't obtained license in 1st of April, the full operation license in 2019. That is the date, the same date that the second substantive vice chancellor became vice chancellor. That was 2 years later. I'm happy to inform you that Summit University of Art has obtained full accreditation for all its programs. The university has developed facilities. The university every year put in place new buildings, new infrastructural development. Presently, the fiber optic cable is being laid, and this will be completed very soon. This university has also been able to infuse skills, high demanding skills, into its students. There are scholarship opportunities, research opportunities, and above all, Summit University of Art has produced 3 sets of graduates in record time, and these graduates have been mobilized for the National Youth Service Corps. I am happy to inform you that you have taken the right decision to join Summit University, the university that has several packages for students of different categories. For degree programs are available, top-up programs and HND conversion programs, IGMB, JUPEP programs, and of course the university is open for transfer students from other universities. The university is growing from strength to strength and has been one of the major private universities in Nigeria. So in the 99 years, Ansar-ud-Deen Society of Nigeria is going to be 99 by the 21st of December this year. The university has produced, during these young years, the society has produced men and women of integrity who are spreading the light all over the country, all over the world. And I'm happy to inform you that you have made the right choice to be a student of Summit University. You're welcome. Thank you for listening.
As-salatu was-salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanallah.